In the heart of a storm, a woman's desperate cries echo through the forest. A battle between love, fear, and fate is about to unfold. If you believe in courage, redemption, and the power of love that defies darkness, make sure to subscribe and stay with us till the end. Tonight, we follow Linda, kidnapped by her cruel ex-husband and trapped in a remote cabin deep in the woods. As danger closes in, Quang races through the storm to save her. Will he arrive in time, or will the forest become Linda's final silence? Let's find out. The rain had just stopped, leaving behind a heavy mist that curled between the towering pines like ghostly fingers. Deep within the forest, hidden from the world, a dim light flickered through the cracks of an old wooden hut. Inside, Linda sat on the damp ground, her wrists raw and bleeding from the ropes that bound her. The air smelled of wet earth, mold, and fear. Her breathing was shallow, every inhale catching in her throat as she listened to the faint crackle of the fire and the footsteps pacing just outside. He was there, her ex-husband, the man whose shadow had haunted her dreams for years, the man she once loved and now feared more than death itself. His name used to mean safety to her. Now it only meant terror. When he entered, the rusty hinges of the door screamed. He carried a lantern, its orange glow carving deep lines across his face. His eyes, bloodshot and wild, locked onto hers with a twisted satisfaction. "Did you really think you could hide from me, Linda?" he asked, his voice low but sharp like a blade dragged across glass. Linda tried to speak, but her throat was dry, her lips trembling. She could only stare at him, the memories flooding back. The nights of screaming, the bruises she hid, the morning she finally ran. She thought she had escaped that nightmare, that starting a new life would bury the past forever. But now, sitting helpless in the cold mud, she realized the past had found her again. He crouched beside her, brushing a strand of wet hair from her face with mock tenderness. "You belong to me," he whispered, and Linda shuddered at the sound. Every word he spoke felt like poison, seeping into her veins. "I've been waiting for this moment. You thought your precious Quang could protect you, didn't you? He can't save you now." The mention of Quang's name sent a flicker of hope through her heart. Quang, the man who once looked into her eyes and saw not a broken woman, but someone worth saving. If only he knew where she was. If only he could hear her silent screams cutting through the forest night. Her mind raced, desperate to find a way out. She tugged at the ropes again, wincing as pain shot up her arms, but she refused to give up. Outside, thunder rolled again in the distance. The forest seemed to close in tighter, as if nature itself held its breath. Inside the hut, her captor poured himself a drink and watched her from across the fire, his expression unreadable. Linda could feel her heartbeat echoing in her ears, the sound of survival. She didn't know how or when, but deep inside, she made herself a promise. She would not let him destroy her again. And somewhere far away, in the storm and darkness, Quang was already on his way. Rain began to fall again, thick and merciless, drumming against the windshield as Quang's car tore through the narrow mountain road. The headlights cut through sheets of water, revealing little more than the glistening asphalt and the shadow of trees bending under the storm. His knuckles were white on the steering wheel, every muscle in his arms tensed with fear and fury. He had traced Linda's last known location to this remote forest, but the GPS signal had faded an hour ago. Now, there was only instinct, and the pounding in his chest that told him she was still alive, still waiting. "Please, Linda, hold on," he whispered to himself, voice breaking with emotion. He could still remember the last time he saw her, standing by the river, her hair swaying in the sunlight, smiling shyly when he promised he'd never let anyone hurt her again. That memory was his fuel now, burning hotter than the storm. The thought of her trapped somewhere, terrified and alone, made his vision blur with rage. The road twisted sharply, nearly throwing the car off the muddy path, but Quang didn't slow down. Each second felt like a battle against time. The rain blurred everything, but his mind was crystal clear. He had to find her before it was too late. He grabbed his phone with one hand, scanning the faint signal that blinked and disappeared again. Then, there it was, a weak, flickering dot on the map, deep in the forest's heart. His pulse surged. He slammed the brakes, the car skidding sideways before stopping. Without hesitation, he jumped out into the storm, mud splashing up to his knees. Lightning cracked across the sky, lighting the trees like broken glass. He grabbed a flashlight and a pistol from the glove compartment, then started running. Branches whipped against his face, the cold biting into his skin, but he barely felt it. Every breath was fire in his lungs, every step echoing with her name. "Linda!" He shouted into the roaring wind. Only the forest answered, whispering back in the rhythm of rain and thunder. His boots sank into the wet earth, but he pushed forward, following the faint glow in the distance. Maybe a reflection, maybe a fire. His heart raced faster. He slipped, fell hard against the rock, but he didn't stop. Blood mixed with rain on his cheek as he got up, gasping. The sound of a branch snapping somewhere ahead froze him in place. Someone was there. He turned off his flashlight, crouching low, listening. Then he heard it, a faint cry, a woman's voice, muffled but unmistakable. Linda. Adrenaline surged through his body. He ran toward the sound, his feet pounding the ground, branches tearing at his clothes. Every second mattered. The storm howled around him like a warning, but he didn't care. Somewhere beyond the trees, the woman he loved was fighting for her life, and Quang would rather die in that forest than arrive a moment too late. The fire inside the cabin crackled faintly, its orange light trembling across the soaked wooden walls. Linda sat frozen, her mind drifting between fear and numbness. Every muscle in her body was tense, waiting for the inevitable. Her captor paced in front of her, bottle in hand, his footsteps uneven and heavy. The storm outside raged like a living creature, the thunder swallowing his muttered words. When he turned toward her, his expression twisted, half drunk, half deranged. "You thought you could leave me behind, didn't you?" he hissed, setting the bottle down with a thud. "You belong to me, Linda. No one takes what's mine." He took a step closer, then another, until she could smell the alcohol on his breath. Linda squeezed her eyes shut, tears slipping down her face as she silently prayed. In the distance, thunder rolled again, long and deep, like the growl of something waiting. Her heart beat wildly, 1, 2, 3, each second louder than the last. Then through the roar of rain came a sound she almost thought she imagined, the faint crunch of boots on wet leaves. The door burst open. A deafening gunshot split the night, echoing through the forest like a scream. The bottle shattered on the floor, spraying shards of glass and whiskey. Her captor spun around, eyes wide with disbelief, just as Quang stepped into the doorway, soaked to the bone, his chest heaving, eyes blazing with fury. "Get away from her," he shouted, voice shaking with rage and desperation. For a moment, the two men stared at each other, predator and protector, both breathing hard, both on the edge of violence. Then the ex-husband lunged. The struggle was brutal and fast. The table overturned, firewood scattered, and the lantern crashed to the floor, spilling light across the chaos. Quang blocked a blow, returned another. The sound of fists and grunts filled the air. Linda cried out, trying to move, her hands still bound. Finally, Quang landed a punch that sent the man crashing into the wall. Without hesitation, he rushed to Linda, slicing through the ropes with a pocket knife. "You're safe now," he said, voice trembling, brushing a strand of wet hair from her face. She collapsed into his arms, sobbing uncontrollably, clinging to him as though he might vanish. Behind them, the defeated man groaned, trying to get up. Quang turned, eyes cold as steel. "It's over," he said quietly, aiming the gun. The man froze, then slumped back against the wall, defeated. Outside, the storm began to fade, the rain softening into mist. Quang helped Linda out of the cabin, wrapping his coat around her trembling body. The forest smelled of wet pine and smoke, but to her, it smelled like freedom. She looked up at him through tears, her voice barely a whisper. "You came for me." Quang smiled faintly, his thumb brushing her cheek. "I always will." And as dawn broke over the forest, painting the mist with gold, Linda leaned into him, knowing that this time the nightmare was truly over.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Lý Tử Ninja Review. Rất vui vì ngày hôm nay lại được gặp lại các bạn trong tập hôm nay. Trong tập hôm nay của chúng ta thì Linda đã bị chồng cũ bắt nhốt trong rừng và hắn ta đang lên kế hoạch sẽ làm một cô lần nữa. Liệu rằng Quang có đến kịp thời để giải cứu Linda hay không? Tất cả sẽ được hé lộ và câu chuyện tiếp theo sẽ được phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh Lý Tử Ninja Review. Các bạn hãy bấm vào nút subscribe để đăng ký kênh sẽ nhận được thông báo mới nhất về các tập phim sẽ được phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh nhé. Cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều vì đã luôn dành tình cảm cho kênh của mình. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.